Hi, everybody. This is Michael Buffer, and let's get ready for HoopJab.
Neil Johnson, we're here with Joel Diaz. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man.
So how did this fight come about? We were hearing Bradley's name mentioned with guys like K9, Cotto, even Shawn Porter. So why'd you guys pick Jesse Vargas?
We didn't. Jesse picked it himself. The last thing I heard was that Jesse Vargas came to the Top Rank office and he demanded a big fight. He demanded a big fight because he wanted to be in the roster to fight Manny Pacquiao. So when he asked for a big fight, Bob Arum told him, hey, you want a big fight? Bradley's there. You want to take it or leave it? So at that point, as far as I heard, he wasn't too happy about it. But it took him a couple of weeks until, I guess he was put against the corner and he had no other option, and now we're here.
Was it the same kind of feeling with the Diego Chavez fight?
With Diego Chavez, it was a little different because I can tell you this, Diego Chavez is a tougher, stronger fighter than Jesse Vargas is.
So what do you think Tim Bradley has to do in order to come out victorious?
What he needs to do, he needs to use his experience and rough up Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas is a very great boxer. He is a great kid. He has a lot of ability, but I don't think he has the potential, the stamina, the ability to rough up Tim Bradley in there.
Now, I mentioned Shawn Porter earlier in the interview. A couple weeks later after Tim's fight, he's going to be fighting Adrien Broner, and that could be like a possible, Tim could possibly fight the winner of that fight if he's able to get by Jesse Vargas. What do you think about that matchup, Broner and Porter?
That's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be one of those fights that you can't really say who's going to win because Adrien Broner is a very skillful fighter. He has a lot of skill. He has power. But at the same time, I think that Shawn Porter is very strong, and he's going to get in there and he's going to make it a dogfight and rough up Adrien Broner. And Adrien don't really like that. So, in that fight, I can't really say who's going to win. It's going to be a great fight.
Now, I just want to get your opinion on this as well. We all know Mayweather Pacquiao took place a couple weeks ago, and there's people out there that believe Manny won. Do you buy into that? Do you think can you understand where people are coming from if they thought Manny won the fight?
Let me tell you something. In the whole world, 90% of the people that bought that fight, they paid for that fight or went to see the fight, they went to see and they were watching that fight to see Mayweather get beat. But it wasn't going to happen. Before the fight, months before the fight, weeks before the fight, every interview that I gave to the media, I said, Mayweather's going to get in that ring and he's going to dictate the pace of the fight. If he feels that Manny won't hurt him, he's going to just put in rounds and walk away with a victory, regardless of what people think. Because Mayweather knows the sweet science of the sport, which is hit and don't get hit. He's not going to get in there and jeopardize his undefeated record. He was going to get in there because he is the bigger fighter. He is a natural welterweight, a lot faster. Pacquiao is a fighter that throws thousands of punches on fighters that stand in front of him. If you move on him, he will not throw punches because he don't have a target in front of him. That fight, I knew what was going to happen even before it happened. And just after the fight, I had people calling me and say, you were right. Mayweather's a smart guy. He's a business guy. There is no way that Manny Pacquiao won that fight. Mayweather just with a jab itself. If he would have fought that fight just with a jab, he would have beat him with a jab because he was being effective with it. He was making Manny miss and just catching him with a jab all night. At one point in the fourth round, he let him unload on him. And he didn't do nothing. He felt like, okay, he's not going to hurt me. Of course, Manny landed a straight left on Mayweather at one point. And of course, it's a fight. You have to get hit. And, he probably did if you hurt him or not. But at the end of the day, he won, and that's the way it is. That's the way boxing is.
Do you think his shoulder injury played a part in any of that?
Well, you know what? I honestly didn't see no shoulder injury in that fight. There was never – you can always see and you can always tell when something's wrong with a fighter. And in that fight, I never saw any. I went and watched the fight again, and honestly, I've had fighters in the ring with injuries, and you can tell they're injured. But with Manny, I never noticed that he had a shoulder injury because he released his punches with no doubt. He never had doubts of any pain. When he unloaded on Mayweather every time, there was no signs of injuries whatsoever.
Lastly, before I let you go, another fight fans have been wanting with your fighter Tim Bradley is they've been wanting to fight Amir Khan for years. Amir's fighting Chris Algieri at the end of the month. What do you think about that matchup?
It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight for Amir Khan. You know, Algieri is a great boxer. He's a great boxer. He can move. He has the ability to move. But I just think Amir Khan's speed is gonna take over that night, and he'll be successful.
Thanks a lot, Joel.